It's about a boy and his radiant spirit of perseverance. Jason was a regular kid and a childhood friend of mine who lived down the street from me growing up. Jason was one grade below me in school. One day, while riding his bike to middle school, he was accidentally and tragically struck by a car and forever disabled, both cognitively and physically. Jason was 13 years old when this happened. In fact, his accident was so severe that he was given a small chance of ever walking again, much less graduating from high school. Through grit and sheer determination, Jason persevered and not only was able to walk but run, as well as successfully graduate from high school. While he was in high school, he became an active participant in the Special Olympics. His basketball team went on to win several state titles, about which he was, and still is, very proud. One day, after winning their second state title in basketball, Jason told and retold the story of their team's championship over and over again to anyone who would listen, and still many who were no longer listening as they had already heard him tell the story several times before. He was so proud of their team and how they had hung in there and how all who had participated, including himself, who had overcome so much leading up to their ultimate state title victory. So, what should we make of this story? I always like to think of Jason's story because it makes me feel good. Of course, the story is not about me at all, but it makes me appreciate what individuals can accomplish despite the many obstacles they face. His obstacles were more than most. Jason accomplished something so very special, even though there was, to be sure, a component of sadness to it. This story is about a special boy who took tremendous joy in his accomplishments, and with good reason. It is a story about a boy who persevered and who looked at his problems and challenges with a positive attitude, as just one more challenge that he needed to surmount and overcome. This story is about a boy who had a distinct disadvantage in life, but he didn't let it stop him. Jason is now 45 years old, fully employed at Nationwide Insurance downtown. He lives independently and also volunteers as an assistant trainer at a local high school. We all have strengths and weaknesses. We simply need to learn to apply ourselves to the best of our ability to any situation that confronts us. Don't dwell on what we are not good at. Focus on the strengths that each one of us does have. Having known many of you for the past 4 years, your strengths are truly incalculable. Second story I want to share is about my own son, Benjamin. When he was all of 3 or 4 years of age, as some of you may know, my parents have a farm in rural Bellefontaine, Ohio. It is a beautiful piece of property of 88 acres that is surrounded by vast openness as well as 15 acres of rich and healthy woods. I often would take my 3 sons to my parents' farm for adventures, hikes in the woods, and even camping. One day, Ben and I embarked on an epic adventure into the woods. At the edge of the woods, there is a small path that we ventured down, but for some reason, Ben walked off the path and ventured all of 20 feet further than he had ever gone before alone, and got into a bit of an entanglement and became disoriented. He looked up at me with scared eyes and said, "Dad, we are never going to get out of here." Smiling and with a little chuckle to myself, I calmly walked down and gently took him by the shoulders and turned him 180 degrees and said, "Look, there through the trees. That's Grandma and Grandpa's house." Clearly relieved, he exclaimed. "Oh, I guess we are going to be okay." It is a simple yet pivotal moment. Even at the young age of 3 or 4, he experienced the value of seeing and learning a new perspective in the face of, at the time, an insurmountable challenge. We headed back to the house no worse for our journey. So when you are confused or worried or seem to be stuck in the mire, turn around, Look at your situation through a different perspective or lens. You probably aren't as bad off as you may think that you are. Know that each of you is loved, and that you have so many who care deeply for you and are here for you, not only today, but forevermore. These are stories I share with you today of perseverance and perspective, and how now you will author your own journey moving forward. The future is always uncertain and difficult to predict, but what I can predict, however, is that each of you will face successes, challenges, and yes, each one of you will also get stuck in the mire along the way. Remember who you are and what you believe in. Remember where you came from and what you stand for. Remember to focus on your strengths and not your weaknesses. Remember that you can do what you can do, not what you can't do. Remember that your situation is never usually as daunting as you might think it actually is. And to take a moment to view things from a different perspective. Each of you possesses a strong moral compass, and they all read true. Oliver Wendell Holmes wrote, "What lies behind us and what lies ahead of us are insignificant compared to what lies within us." What lies within each of you will determine your successes. Believe in yourself and what you can and will do. Congratulations to the 103rd graduating class of this great historic institution that is Grandview Heights Schools. I wish you all the very, very best.